Brian T. Smith writes in the Chronicle,
oh boy,
the Texans are running out of trade options for Deshaun Watson. And he starts out by saying Miami has insisted that it's not trading for Deshaun Watson. The New York Giants have done the same. Denver joined the anti-Watson club on Tuesday, stunning the NFL, blah, blah, blah.
Calm down, Brian. Brian loves to hyperbolize like all local columnists.
But then you have Ian Rappaport, who said that the market for Deshaun Watson was, quote unquote, robust.
Oh.
So, you ask which one is it? It probably depends on where you're getting your information. I see what Brian T. Smith is saying when he says there are less options. Like, that's how math works.
One option, yes, no longer exists. That's the Denver Broncos. But one option just appeared. It's the Seattle Seahawks. And if Adam Schefter, Annie, and Rappaport are saying that there's a chance for both of those teams, then there's a chance.
Right.
And I'm sure, just keeping in mind Pete Carroll's age, that optimally, if he could all of a sudden in one offseason trade out Russell Wilson and all his complaining, behind the scenes complaining, of course. And by the way, he's the worst. I did not enjoy covering Russell Wilson, the person, the player I liked. You can swap out Russell Wilson for Deshaun Watson, a guy who's younger, similar skill set, who has shown that in big moments he can succeed, who you have seen firsthand. Remember that game in 2017? It was an awesome game. It was the same day as Game 5 of the World Series. It was the longest sports day I can remember because the Texans and Seahawks played each other. There was a lot of drama, Vanessa, leading up to the game because a lot of people weren't sure if the Texans were going to show up because of comments that Bob McNair had made at the NFL meetings. Yeah, the inmates running the prison.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people were like, are they even going to show up? And they showed up. I mean, they were on the road in Seattle, a very difficult place to play. And Deshaun Watson, who's a rookie quarterback in this game, balled.
Yeah.
Threw 3 interceptions, yes, but he threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And that game was one of the best football games I'd seen in a really long time. And it's a shame that Watson tore his ACL like a couple of days later in practice because he was so good in that game. And then Game 5 of the World Series was right after that. And that was the longest baseball game I've ever watched.
You know who doesn't get enough credit for mending the Texans situation there?
Who?
I've had multiple players tell me that the only reason they played was because Bill O'Brien was able to talk them out of walking out. So for all of his faults, that's one story where he was good about bridging that issue and that gap.
He wasn't a bad coach. I know a lot of people dislike him. He was a terrible GM. He was not a bad coach. I agree.
We are not on the Bill O'Brien hate coach train. So, yeah, Brian T. Smith finishes the article by saying, while the Texans keep waiting and waiting and waiting, we've been reminded of a simple fact for 14 months. The NFL waits for no one, especially not the Texans.
Oh, gosh.
That is an article by Brian T. Smith on the Houston Chronicle. I get what he's saying, but do you buy more of the Ian Rappaport where the market is robust for Deshaun Watson? Or do you buy Brian T. Smith where the Texans' options are less and less and less?
It's hard to say robust because he has a no-trade clause. So, yes, there are teams that want to trade for him, but how many teams is he going to be willing to accept a trade to? And at what point is he going to say, yeah, I don't have that many options? I don't think he's there yet. I think right now he probably thinks that once everything is resolved legally that someone is going to come calling. Robust is a strong word. Slim too. I'm not going to go there.
So you think it's a gray area? It's kind of in the middle.
I think we're in the middle. If we have to pick one or the other, I would tend to think at this point in time it is closer to slim than robust. But it should be higher. There are a lot of teams right now that should be looking at themselves in the mirror and wondering, wait a second, what are we doing here? Like, imagine you're the Jets. You got Zach Wilson, great. You should be going after Deshaun Watson.
100%.
You got the capital. You guys are, you're a loser franchise with just fans that, like, the things that the fans are cheering for now, like, oh, yeah, the Seahawks traded for Jamal Adams, and now Jamal Adams is going to be miserable because he's on a rebuild again. Like, that's what Jets fans are cheering for these days. Just a total loser franchise, loser fans. No offense, Jake Aspen, I love you, but good God. Like, so in this situation, the Jets, look at Zach Wilson. You really think Zach Wilson's going to be able to compete with Josh Allen? Are you serious? Like, what are you thinking? You're completely moronic if you think that. That should be a team that's in on the sweepstakes, and they're always going to be little brother in New York unless they can actually get the better quarterback.
The Giants say that they are out on Deshaun Watson. The Dolphins say they're out on Deshaun Watson. But if you're Mike McDaniel, new head coach, newly named offensive coordinator Frank Smith, you like the idea. Now, you might not be able to say it, but you like the idea of having Deshaun Watson running your offense over Tua. You have to think that. Now, I know that they're saying what they have to say, especially with all everything involving Brian Flores. But if you injected a lot of GMs and coaches with truth serum and said, would you like Deshaun Watson behind, under center, running your offense? Maybe not with the legal implications, but most of them, I think, would say yes.